Equestrian of Slendercorn here, and today, well, it's my 1000 view special. So what I'm doing, as you probably saw from the title, is make a forest. I don't really know how big this will be yet, but so let's get started. And thank you for 1000 views. That's very proud to say that. So, in my opinion, it's up to you which woods you want to use, but I like using just the plain old oak and oak leaves. And so what you want to do then is, this is just vanilla, so you don't need to have anything like voxel. Create a little base along the lines of that, and then just build it out this way, kind of like in one direction. It doesn't have to be any particular direction. I just am going this way. So, and make sure it doesn't like go like straight up like that. It should be very curved, kind of like mine is right now. But don't overdo it, otherwise it looks bad. So once we get to a certain point, and it's up to you how big the trees are, the trees you want to have, like how tall they want to be, how tall you want them to be. So let's move that down a bit. Just sometimes it's okay to remove some unnecessary logs to make it look a bit more natural, like that is okay. But yeah, let's do that. Okay, so now once you reach a certain height, so let's just say here's probably good. So let's fix up the underneath area, and let's do this. So now let's just add to this to make it a bit more thicker, and you can always make it as wide as you want. I want to make mine personally a bit more wide. And if you have world edits, like I'm doing this without world edit, but if you have world edits, you can use a cheat to make all wood 6-sided, so it looks a bit better and more realistic. But this is for people who don't have world edit like me. So now you want to start building in the not necessarily opposite direction, but I am just a direction away from that branch. So it can be taller. I think I'm gonna make mine a bit taller. And right now this is just how it's gonna look. So I'm gonna add a lot more depth to this, and let's do this. Boom. Okay, whoops. So that looks a bit that looks okay, but what we want to do then is, so it's more realistic of how it's supported, add down to here. Like that way it looks a bit more realistic. That's looking a bit better. And what we might want to even do is actually extend our base, because right now this looks a little bit unnatural, and we don't want that. So let's just do this, and now clear out some of this. Oops, grass. And so here's just the little base right now, and we can always change it, like make it taller. This is just an example. I will make probably more trees, but now I like to use 3 or more branches, because I think it adds and it makes it a lot easier to be able to like know where to place the leaves when you surround the tree. So let's place this right here. Okay, and this is probably good. So we do want to add something along the lines of that. And if you see multiple like directions that they're all facing like this, you probably want to change one or more of them to make it look a bit better. So there's that. And now let's carve out some of this. There, makes it a bit more realistic. Okay. So now what you want to do is you want to surround this with leaves. This is just a quick example. When I'm more focused and stuff, like I'll show you later, but I've made a much better tree. This is just a quick example. That way you have the general idea. Next tree I'm going to make, because I'm going to make multiple, will be a lot more detailed, I promise. So let's add to this. Okay. So now once we've surrounded the area and leaves, what we want to do then is now we're going to change this to make it look a bit better, but you want to kind of surround any wood that sticks out, and you can always add extra branches, which I should probably do that, like add branches like that maybe. That way it just gives it a lot more realistic feel and texture. So boom, 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 boom. Okay, and now let's surround this. Okay, let's do this. And it's okay if one like piece of wood is showing or so, but personally I like it more if it's all covered, but don't add too many leaves, otherwise it looks like way too blocky, I guess you could say. So there's this. And remember, you can always make the trees the way you want. This is just a quick example. Like, you don't have to follow my technique at all. This is just a recommendation. It's a way I found that makes trees look pretty good. Like, non-natural ones. So, let's add this. Carve around here. And it's okay to make, like, some areas taller than others. That makes it actually better, in my opinion. Makes it a lot more realistic. And for this, I think I'm actually going to make the tree, like, kind of droopy where the leaves, like, hang over and stuff. Because that adds to the, like, a more realistic old feel. And I mean, the goal of this tree really is to make your tree look as realistic and as cool as possible. But you don't want a tree that looks bad. So, let's add this. And once I carve out the leaves and change them a bit, it will look a whole lot better. So let's add this, and you want to fill in most of the gaps. Let's add that to there, this to there. Okay, so now just fill in all gaps, and it might look weird now, but once you finish, like fixing the leaves, it'll look perfect in my opinion. Or not perfect, but very good. But there, you want to make sure like you don't have too many gaps. Okay, so let's fill in this area. All right. Well, fill that. Boom. And so now, as you see, that looks very awkward and bad. So now what you want to do then is you kind of, or if you want to go with like the droopy kind of thing, you want to like probably like curve down like that. And now just surround the entire tree like this. Let's just put this into fast forward real quick. So now that we have surrounded the entire tree, what you want to probably do is like fill in it to like connect it so there's not any gaps. So fill in like this. Okay. There we go. Okay, let's do this. Like, whoop. Okay. So you might, not right now at least, you will later though. You don't really want to fill in the underneath, you just want to fill in the obvious locations. Like where it's, you can fall through if you're walking on top. So this area will take a bit of work, so I'll put it fast forward one more time. Alright, so now that we have filled in like all the leaf areas, you notice that it's getting a bit better, but it still looks pretty bad. So what you want to do then is add towards the center, add the leaves stick up a bit, and like add it where like not all the leaves are perfectly shaped. And what you might want to do is things like this, make leaves go like that, go down. I mean, it's up to you. The goal is not to follow my tutorial like everything I do, just to have the general idea really of what to do. So let's carve out the corners so they look a lot less natural. And while you're flying around, I guess, assuming you do this on creative mode, just destroy random leaves because that makes it look a lot more realistic in my opinion. So now we want to add towards the center, make it look like it's rising up a lot more naturally rather than just going from this to like that, for example. So, let's go like this. Boom. And in this tutorial, I think I'll also show you how to make like just a few little items like a campfire or something. And other stuff like that. Okay, so let's add to leaves like this. And now we want to destroy like just random leaves so it caves down a bit. And now that we have gotten some of this done, whoop, that's not what you want to do then in scenarios like this where it's just one deep. You want to like go like that so there's a hole but you don't fall. So let's go like this. Okay. So okay. And so once that's all done, it looks a bit better. You know, still needs some work though. So what you want to do then, in my opinion, is you can use like the vine thing like this, like where it looks like this and like have leaves behind it. But I don't personally like the look because it doesn't look the best in my opinion. I don't really care for that look. But so just to add like, to make it look more droopy, I guess you could say, which is the goal, is add vines like this. Some should be shorter than others, some longer. Boom. Oh, yep. And you might want to like just change how the vines look. One can be like perfectly straight, but I'd recommend keeping away from as many straight ones as you can. Here we go. Like that. And let's destroy that because that looks a bit goofy. Okay. And this will be a very short line. So now once that's done, it looks better, but what you want to do then is you kind of want to continue to raise it up like this. Oh, fix that. So you want to continue to like just add where it raises up and stuff so it looks a bit better, and that's an issue. So like this. And once you have most of that done, I mean over here it's still bad. So let's just fix this real quick. There we go. Okay, so now what we want to do then is actually, I mean it's not done on the outside, still a lot of room needed, so we'll get back to that later. But now what we want to do is we want to like work on the inside, where the leaves like surround the branches on the inside, but don't do too much, otherwise it just looks very awkward. But you do want to do it where it does look nice, because without the leaves on the inside it does look awkward. So let's just delete some wood. If there's any wood that just like makes it look way too blocky, then I would recommend deleting it. So there we go. Set some leaves here, some leaves there, and now just place random blocks. I'd recommend just in here, just to make it look a bit better. Try to avoid it from the outside, that way it's not mistaken for a vine. But you could add like vine things on the inside, as I'm doing here. Like that's a little vine. That. And so now let's this is way too high, so let's fix that a bit. There we go. Okay, okay, so there, that looks a bit better. We can continue to make this around the rest of the tree, that way it doesn't look so awkward. And let's do this. Oops, just make it day. The typos. Okay. Okay, so here it looks pretty awkward because it's so flat and everything. And you don't really want it flat in two areas. I would recommend staying away from that. So now let's do this. Okay. So now that that looks a bit better, a bit more realistic, we can fix up the top one more time. And this is just an example. Next tree I'm going to make, it will be entirely fast forward now that you know the technique, and I'll show you. It'll look a lot better when I'm not rushing. I just want to show you how to do this as quick as possible without wasting too much of your time. So let's add some areas that stick up, and it's okay to add around these logs so it looks a bit better. And so now, here is the first tree. The stump did not turn out as well as I would like it to. This is just a quick example. So I'm now going to fast forward and make a much better tree. So let's the fast forwarding begin, I guess. Okay, well now that this tree's done, I mean, as you can see, I use the exact same technique. It just looks a lot better in my opinion, because, well, like, it just looks cool because I took my time, and I also added roots to this tree. And that tree, I like where it goes down into the ground. So that's the only trees I want to make. I mean, obviously, if you make a forest, you need way more trees. But now, time to make something that I think would be in a stereotypical forest. A witch hut. So, I'm going to place it right here. And let's place... So, I'm just going to create the outline of it. So, let's place like this. 1, 2... It'll look boring for now, but this is just the outline, so you have the opportunity to make it look way better. And I never imagined witch huts as being big, so it's not gonna be too big. This is how big it's gonna be. It's not gonna be ridiculous, but you want to make sure that you do have a center block. Whoop, lag. So let's just destroy that because that's our center block. So now once you do that, you want to add walls like this, like just cobble walls. Whoop. Like that. Whoops. Like this. Like this. Oh, make sure you place it like that, that. So now that you have all these walls around it, what you want to do then is you want to place stone brick stairs like this, like that, like that, like that. So just follow this relative pattern if you want to make a witch hut. Okay, so let's do this. Okay. And this is just supposed to be kind of freestyle, like there's not one set way to build this. So what I recommend, assuming you're playing on 1.8, is that spruce door, and that's pretty. I think that matches the theme. So now once you have that done, what you want to do then is and these are the blocks you'll need. You want to go around and add like cracked or mossy stuff like around it, just random, just to make it look a bit better and a bit more realistic for a stereotypical witch hut, which is what we are aiming for. So let's do mossy there, cracked there. So now once that's done, really, yeah, we've basically surrounded the entire place. So you want to just take like random mossy cobble walls and just replace the cobble with them. That way they look a bit better. And it's okay if some are just entirely plain, or like this one will be entirely mossy. It's up to you what you want. Destroy that. Okay, so just make sure you surround this very well. Let's do that. This will be another plain one. So there, now that that's done, what you want to do is you want to make a gradual dome over the top. And so most, they're like that. So once you place it like, you want to place the first slab like from the stairs, if that makes sense, from these stairs. And for this sake, we'll just place this, but we're probably gonna delete that once we're done with the dome. So now you want to surround the entire area kind of in a one higher up, if that makes sense, like I'm doing on camera right now. So once that's good, let's do this. Oh, okay. So now that that's done, I messed up here. Somewhere I messed up. So, whoops. Also, I realized I made another mistake. So, as you can see, I should not have placed the stair there. The stair should actually be, according to this, should be one out. That's where I messed up. Whoops, silly mistake. That just makes it look a bit better now. So once you follow this pattern, like this, and now, boom, that's done with that. I would recommend deleting these corners just to make it look a bit less squarish, more circular, but it's Minecraft. What are we expecting? Perfect circles. Oh, okay. So now, make it rise even one more. And you probably predicted it, in the center, make it rise one more. So there we go. There is the basics of our dome. And now if we want to do in areas like this, I would recommend just placing, like, for this right now, in this sake, we're just going to place, like, stone brick. But in these corner areas, you want to keep them there, because on the inside, you can do something really cool with that. So let's place that. And now, nope, not that, that looks bad. So there we go. And so there's that. And now that's the outside, but if you want to make it look better, you can like replace some of these normal stone brick slabs with that, just to give it a different feel and stuff. I mean, you could completely destroy it, but I don't like doing that, but it's up to you. So there we go. That gives it a more realistic look. So now we probably want to work on that a bit, just Just nothing too complex, just something simple like that, just to make it look a bit better. So once that's done, oh, and you can always feel free to add like that. I'm not a fan. Well, actually, I kind of am. Never mind, I just changed my mind. So now once we're here, what we want to do is we want to place like the mossy walls and stuff. Let's do that. And now once we open the door, if we go out here, we probably want to place like stone. This is where we would probably place the stone brick slabs every time. Take that over there. That way it looks better. And remember to make these look a bit different. So like in scenarios like this, I would recommend adding like cracks and stuff, because otherwise it looks too plain and boring, in my opinion. So now that that's done, what you want to do is to make it look as nice as possible. You don't want to have it very well lit. You probably want to have it like dimly lit. So just place like one redstone torch, not a normal torch, otherwise it's too bright. I'll show you the difference. Go. It's way too bright with a normal one, so I would just recommend using a redstone. And so once that's done, now the interior's up to you, but what I would recommend, as I see these go really well, take spruce wood and dark oak wood, because let's just place a torch so we can see better for this. They're different, but not by far. So if you do that, it'll actually add a cool look. So let's just add random places, and it's best if they don't go in the same direction, not like all spruce wood and stuff. So let's add it like that, probably like this or something along the lines. So you want to make sure that they don't always go in the same direction, just so it looks better. Now that that's done, that should be dark oak. So it's really just super customizable. And this, that, and that. So if there's some areas you just want to improve like that, do so. Oh, let's destroy this door. Completely forgot to do that. So let's just make this spruce. There we go. And so now that that's done, to add to the inside, I would recommend cobwebs. I know that's kind of, well, like boring, but if you put them in the right location, it makes it look cool, or because it makes it look old, and because you know, need good decorations. So put like bookshelf like that, enchantment table, I would recommend, but I'd like to place it one away, just so it gets the cool particles. Not a lot, but just some of them. And if you want just to make it look a bit more creepy, you can make like a skeleton skull or something like that. So now for the centerpiece, you can choose a block. I mean, I don't really actually know what block I want to choose, but just choose a block to place there, preferably one that does not glow but still looks cool. Perhaps like maybe an emerald block, I don't know. But now what you want to do then is like take a cauldron and place it like right there. And if you want to, it's up to you. I would take a water bottle and a bucket and right click on it twice so it's low. And there we go. And I mean, it does kind of take away from the feel a little bit, the brightness color, but that's alright. And now that that's done, really, that does it for our witch hut, really. There's not a lot more to add. I mean, you could add some silverfish or stuff, I don't really know. It's up to you, but this is just a recommendation. So next, I'm going to show you like a campfire. So I will be right back. What city? What? I just finished the wish hut. I finished it. So I'm pausing. Paused it. No, it's not on mute. I paused the recording, period. Okay, so now I need wool. Really? You want it to be nice? I'm gonna start again real quick. So now for the campfire, these are just some of the materials you'll need. You'll actually need more. I mean, I would recommend putting a tent or a wagon. For this, I'm just going to put a tent. So what you want to do probably is place netherrack and then fire. That way the fire stays lit. And next to that, what I would recommend is like, not like 1 block away possibly, place something along the lines of there, like that, relight the fire. That way it's hanging up and it looks like, okay, you can fill that with water. That way it looks like you're cooking something, maybe. Now if you're on one, that is not centered, that is not good. So, I would recommend, if you're not playing on 1.8, then this is for you. But if you're playing on 1.8, don't use oak wood. I would recommend using something like spruce, but I'm just showing oak wood for now. So that's the fire. And what we want to do now is add gravel, like maybe just around it, just to give it a bit more like feel. That is not good. There, it doesn't look too bad, just, you know, it catches on fire. But if you have world edit, you can make it where that fire doesn't spread with some cheats. So for this, for tents, this is what I would recommend. So you want to use like 2 different types of wool. Light gray and white go very well. Same with dark gray and black. But if you use like, let's just search. If you use like purple and blue or something like that, that's not going to look the best. So I'd use colors like this that are similar but not the exact same. So you can use oak fence for this. So now that this is all ready, let's just place like it right here. I'm going to show you both types, that way you can decide. So let's make that 3 tall. And what we probably want to do is make it like this, where you could still walk in, but it's not. It's kind of protected by this fence in the middle. Okay. Actually, let's switch this to light gray. Okay. Now that that's all good, just go 1 down until you eventually get to the bottom. Is what I would recommend. And you can always make this taller even, like that, but that's assuming you have a really wide fence. If you want to have a smaller one, then you can do something along the lines of this. Let's see. Okay, so like this, and then there we go, and like that. So that's if it's smaller, and you want to make it smaller, which is obviously more realistic than a giant tent. But in the corners, you might want to make it like this instead of going out. That adds. So I'm just going to do great wool, and then I'm going to add white wool. So when you get to the back, you want like this, probably something along the lines of this, where it's not perfectly square, but otherwise that, like, see, it's not square. Otherwise, if it was, it would look terrible like that. So there we go. Boop. Okay, so now that that's done, we can add something like that, and that, and even like that. That's not too bad, I suppose. And so now let's just add random pieces of white wool, just to give it a much better feel, rather than just being one solid color, which is kind of boring. I would recommend using more white than light gray. I mean, I know I made this out of light gray wool, but still. And also, yeah, that's the thing. If you're doing like 2 colors that are similar, I would recommend using more of the light color than the dark color. I think it looks better. Okay. Let's add that. Okay. Oh. There we go. And there. So that's really our. This is our tent. Now what we can do is, I'd recommend keeping the floor grass, because really it doesn't change. But you can add carpet, but I'm not going to. But I would recommend adding like a bed, and like maybe like that or something. So it's kind of like a sleeping bag maybe. And maybe just add some random chests and crafting tables. Crafting. Okay. So there, and you can just place like copious amounts of chests. Just like make it like somebody's just living there or whatever. I mean, it really depends on what you want to do. You can make it where there's almost nothing or where there's a lot of stuff. I'm just going to do that, and I'll just pause it and show you what it's like. Okay, and if you follow the basically same technique, here is the black and gray fence, black and dark gray. I mean, I prefer the white wool and light gray, but still, this isn't bad. So there we go. And for our last part of this tutorial, these are just examples of what you might see. For our last part, I am going to show you what you can use to make the ground a lot more interesting. So I will be right back. Alright, well now if you continue to do what I do, you can make the ground look a lot better using podzol, coarse dirt, and gravel. And remember to include them in the tents if you're making a grass floor, just to make it look better. Just add some grass as well, just like normal grass. And I'd recommend these three flowers, not flavors, because I think they match the best. And for our last thing of this tutorial, just do /clear. It's something very simple, but still adds a lot. So I would recommend getting a lily pad. What's the name? Lily pad. And these flowers around the lilacs. And there was one other thing. I can't remember. Okay, well, anyway, just carve out a little area. It should not be like perfectly square, otherwise that does not look like a pond. Like this is a fine area. And you probably don't want to make a current, like where the water is not perfectly like straight into stuff. There we go. So there's a lily pad, just add some lilacs around them. There we go. And you can always and remember to continue like the gravel and stuff around it. That adds it a bit better, or makes it look a bit better, should I say. And let's just get the coarse dirt real quick. That way you can continue the feel. So this is just an example of forest. You don't have to listen to anything I do in this tutorial, but if you want a fairly decent forest, this is what you do. So yeah, that's basically a lot of things in a forest. How to make a forest, I guess you could call it. So thank you all for watching, and again, I would like to thank you all on 1,000 views on all my videos total. I'm very proud of that, and I appreciate all your support for this entire time I've been on YouTube. So with that, I hope you all have a super day, and let me know if you want me to do a tutorial or a building tutorial on something else. So goodbye. So a little side note, I added some more trees to make the forest expand, and this is what I got. So just remember, if you continue to add some trees, you can get a very nice result. So yeah, that's all.